Are we live? It says I'm live. Same conversation every time. 5:30. It's Wednesday, 5:30 live Q&A time from Arena Studio Land with me, Chris. I missed the last couple of weeks. I've been absolutely snowed under patching gear and one or two other bits and bobs and trying to get this new drum kit set up, which I still haven't done. I've only had it 3 weeks, but I will get there eventually. So today's topic is a bit of a thrown together one, really, if I'm being truthful. I had a little chat today with a young lad from a school who, one of the teachers, sort of members of staff, asked me to have a live chat with him about some of the things that he wanted to know how to get into music. So I thought, what a great way of having a little conversation today about it. And one of the questions was, how did I get into music? It all started for me with guitars. Sister got me a guitar from Woolworths when I was a bit of a kid and got the bug and played ever since, really. But I do think this guy wants to get into rap stuff. You know, he wants to write lyrics and work with beats and all this, like a lot of the young lads sort of get a beat off YouTube nowadays. Hello, YouTube. And then they put their content over the top, you know, the rap over the top of it and make some great stuff. And I get quite a few that come in the studio doing it, and it's great. But I do think if you just go down one avenue like that, you are restricting yourselves. So for me, he asked about music theory. Does he need it? Does he not need it? I actually said I don't think he does at this point in time. For me, I didn't sort of get into that till, years ago, really. It sort of came onto me, and I'd been in bands for years, dabbling here, there and everywhere with bits and bobs of music, with bands and recordings and all that type of stuff. And then I got into the music theory, and I must admit, I do think studying the theory was the bit that transformed it all, really, for me, because you then get to communicate with a better class, dare I say that word, a better class of musicians and all this. And one of the guys who got me into all the theory and who's put me through all my exams, he once said a statement to me which bruised me big time when he came out with this. He actually said to me, you get guys that play in bands, and then you get musicians. And I was in a band at the time, and I thought we were brilliant. Well, we were great, you know, we were great singers. I've been lucky to work with some stunning singers in my time in bands. And it sort of dented my ego a bit. That didn't made me realize that actually I didn't know as much as what I thought I did. So I went through him and studied all the Thames Valley University, London College of Music theory and music literacy. And what a difference it made, because then when you get somebody in who does know what they're talking about, you can communicate on a different level. It's far more productive. It makes things more solid, and you create better stuff together, you know, and understanding all that is a game changer. So I would suggest at some point learning an instrument or getting involved with some sort of music literacy or theory at some point. You know, there's both sides of the fence with this. A lot of people say to me about this, you know, oh, it just stifles creativity. It doesn't. It just means that sometimes that creativity is something that you stumble on because you're not following musical form. And I'm not saying that's good, and I'm not saying it's bad. It's just certain situations it can work, and certain situations it can't. Nearly said all that wrong, didn't I? I've done pretty good so far without getting tongue-tied and twisted up in things. So that was one of the questions that he asked me, you know, what did he need to get? And I did suggest trying to learn. He did play guitar to a sort of beginner level. So I said to him, pick the guitar up again and have a little go and see whether you can put some sort of chord progressions together and work on your own material rather than using somebody else's beats and somebody else's melodies and bits and bobs to create your product. You know, try and do it all alone. You know, get all the money yourself. You might as well, rather than paying for samples and tracks to everybody else that's producing them out there, which is very lucrative for a lot of producers, you know, and there's nothing wrong with it. So again, you know, if he's going to write lyrics just in rap music, he's niched down, or as they say in America, niched down his skill set, really. You know, for me in Arena Studio, I get to work with rappers, with bands, mixed songs. I work with students, with singers, guitar players. It's brilliant. And that all probably comes down to the fact that I might be old and been around forever, really. So you can put yourself in a position where you can provide services to a lot of musicians and industries and create a good product for them. But I think early on, when you're young, you sort of favor a specific style, a specific genre, and that's the way that you want to go. And I get that, you know, but then you do reach that point in your career where you realize, you know what, I'm not going to be a millionaire. I'm not going to be famous. I'm not going to sell zillions of records and have gold albums on my wall. It just doesn't happen to everybody. So, you know, if you've stacked up on your skill set, on your journey as you're trying to make it, some people do make it and it's great, you know, and if you do, good luck to you and all that lot. But the ones that don't make it then end up just floundering and not knowing what to do for the rest of their lives. Whereas if you've developed that skill set of a bit of theory, a bit of songwriting, a bit of guitar playing, you're creating the possibility for more demand for your services. So, yeah, that was one of the questions. He asked how I got into it, and I basically told him how I'd done what I'd done over the years, which was good. And I'm not going to go into all that now because sometimes I get fed up of it, talking about it all. One of the other questions was, is there money as a rap artist? Well, I suppose, again, you've niched yourself down. If you're a major player as a rap artist, and I'm not an expert on rap, I'm not, and all the trap stuff that's out there, but I do think that any artist who sets themselves in a niche or wants to get into a niche is going to restrict things eventually. You know, you don't see many 50, 60-year-old rappers out there, but you do see a lot of 50, 60-year-old great singers who've been around forever and still command a nice fee and can still go out and gig regularly, you know, and you don't envisage yourself being those ages, I suppose, at some point. But it happens to everybody, you know. Look at all your favorite pop stars. They suddenly get old and they keep making records. And if they've got a nice management team and a good production crew behind them, they can still make fantastic music for the rest of your lives. You don't want to be in it for 5 minutes and out of it with no money, really. You want to try and set yourself a nice goal of sticking around for a long time. So those were a few of the questions that I answered for this young man today. Can I add anything on that will... Yeah, I think if you are trying to get into music nowadays, there are millions and millions. I think there's something like 18,000 songs a day released. So, you know, the big thing, and I've seen this time and time again, and this is the one thing that is my pet hate and why I'm always very reluctant when I work with a lot of artists. I have to get to know them inside out a little bit, really, and try and find out what sort of work ethic they've got, because I see so many bands that I've been with over the years or watched and followed, and when things don't quite go according to plan, they take the foot off the gas. They do the exact opposite of what they should do. You know, most artists can't wait to get an album release, and when they do, they run with it for a few weeks and it's absolutely amazing and they love it. But then when they don't get the sales figures or the recognition or the glory from that, immediately you step away from it. And it's all, you watch any major playing artist out there and they are constantly every single day drip feeding content on their social medias, whether it's reels, whether it's stories, whether it's TikTok videos. They do them religiously every single day, and the amateurs don't. And that's the big difference, is keeping yourself out there, keeping that momentum going. Take your foot off the gas, and 5 minutes later, trust me, everybody's forgotten about you. And then the next one comes along and they do the same thing. They ride the wave for a few weeks. They don't work hard enough. It's all down to that. They do not work hard enough. Now, I know, I'm not going to name names, but I know of an artist who actually hit the big time and grafted his socks off, because that was what was expected of him. Sort of 6 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock the following morning, 2 days a month, possibly something like that, that they got off to spend time with family. You know, it was brutal, the workload that goes on an artist. So when you're an amateur sitting at home or holding your 9 to 5 down, like most of us have been at some point, you don't have that motivation to come home and work for 2-3 hours a night and contact people directly and do personal appeals to them to get your products listened to and shared and out there, because it's work and nobody likes to work for free. But what you have to do, you have to keep constantly chipping away at all this to create these fans that want to stick with you. They want to know what you do. That's why social media exists. People want to know what everybody else is doing, and that's why all the celebs have tens of thousands, millions of subscribers, and they earn money off those social media networks. You know, so this is why they constantly keep feeding information, whether they're writing a song, whether they've recorded a song, whether they've released a song, whether they're rehearsing a song, whether they're in a studio, whether they've had a pie for the dinner, you know, anything that they can put out there gets put out there, and it's put out there for a reason, and it's because it keeps that momentum going. And if you take your foot off the gas, you're gone. So if it happens to the big major players, the smaller guys and bands that are just trying to get out there, if you don't work hard enough, 5 minutes later, literally, you're out the window, and nobody really cares that you've had a record or an album or a video out, you know. So it's brutal. You have to work harder than you've probably ever worked on anything in your life. And that is the downfall. That's the problem that I see with everybody. There are not many, I would say 1 out of 100 people that walk through this door has got that work ethic to graft and try and grind it out. And then at the end of the day, they still might not get the results that they want, but they're prepared to go. And that's the difference. You've got to have a little go at it. So, you know, anybody that's trying to get into music, it's a very, very tough, like I say, 18,000 songs a day. So how do you expect your music to stand out? You have to keep telling everybody it's there and that you're working on it. You know, so if you're new to it and you want to get into it, I would look at music theory. I would look at social media platforms. I would look at, music literacy and all that type of stuff, and try and get some sort of mindset that this is not a 5-minute journey. It's a journey that you're going to have to take for maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 years and to make your living out of this industry. You know, it's hard slog. But it's one of the best things going. You know, if you can make a living doing something that you love, then it's a lottery win. So, yeah, you know, get yourself good tracks, good quality audio, good publicity, good management, a good agent. These are all things that you should be aiming for. And if you don't feel that you're capable of working for these people, then cold light of day, you're probably not good enough to do it. So you have to take a step back in that situation and say, what are my weak points? What are my frailties? What do I need to improve? Am I good on guitar? No, not really. So go and get guitar lessons. Does my voice stand up with what's out there? No. Yeah, it does, you know, or whatever, you know, find your weaknesses and work on those, put those flaws right, and give yourself every opportunity. The more skills you've got, the more in demand you will become. And that is my little rant over with for today. So don't forget, graft is the key to it all. It's the key to anything in life. If you want to get good at a job or a career, you know, put that effort in more than anybody else, and you'll get spotted and you'll get the rewards at some point. I'm sure you'll get some sort of lucky break. So that's it. Don't forget to tune in every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. on YouTube, and live up for you Facebookers as well. And we'll be chatting about something. If you want to send me your questions, you can email them or send them to me on social media. The email address is info@arenastudio.co.uk. That's Arena Studio, all one word. And also check out the YouTube channel, because I've been doing loads of 1-minute quick guitar lessons on there, literally 50 seconds, where you just got to sit and watch it and understand how to play the scale or the chord. They're all out there. It's Arena Recording Studio on YouTube. And also don't forget that there's a new tuition video or something to do with production or singing or guitars relative to all that, released every single Friday on YouTube as well at 5:30. No, not 5:30, at 8:30 in the morning every single Friday. So there's a lot of content going on there for you, and it's all free, and it's all there to help you to get on these little rungs of ladders and climb and make your way in this wonderful world of music. All right, so that's it. I'm going to disappear now, and I'm going to make a fool of myself for another 5 minutes while I try and find the buttons every darn week to switch these cameras off. I'm going to make a quick cup of tea, and then I've got 2 students in, and then I'm done for the day, and I'm going to go home and put my feet up and have a nice cup of tea and a chocolate biscuit. So that's me done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you same time, same place next week. Cheers. See you soon. Bye. Here we go. Where do we turn it off? Oh, not that one. Oh, end. Hang on.